Going solar with 320 may cost you nothing down, but the work we do is not a $0 job. With a 10-year roof penetration warranty and solar panels guaranteed for 25 years, you can have peace of mind knowing we will do the job right every time without question. Solar. Power up.
All right. Welcome back to Buck What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Buck What You Heard on Twitter. You follow me, I will follow you back. I promise. We were supposed to have somebody on tonight, and I'm guessing he's running a little bit late, or he forgot about us. Either way, I'm sure he'll be on eventually, but you're stuck with us two right now. Again, I'm Gene at Buck What You Heard. And my co-host, my head right here. My co-host here, KB. What's going on, man?
It's all good. It's Thursday, but it's mentally Friday.
Exactly. That's kind of there's no excuses for this. Shout out to Bucs Report. How you guys doing tonight? Hope to get to talk to some of you guys. As usual, you guys really bring it. Shout out to 320 Solar. I appreciate you guys for letting us have these commercials on here to represent you guys and what you do. If you're thinking about solar, that's definitely what you need to be looking at. Are you looking at solar by any chance?
I have an apartment, man.
Oh, okay. Well, it's it's definitely something to look into, man. It saves you a ton of money. I've got a lot of friends, and we're actually looking at it, right now and possibly getting it. So yeah, it's definitely worth the look. What can I say, man? This has been a fun week right here, man. Victory week. And I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate this all the way through to Sunday. And
I was going to say Sunday at 4:00, or 8:00, excuse me, but there's some news that dropped today.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's dive into that. Oh, Christopher Cole is saying, I don't understand why they changed the time slot. Last week was a Thursday night game, or whenever that game was, back whenever the game was. So I switched places with Peter Blake. Normally Peter Blake would be on now, or would have been on at this time, but this is
I think he's talking about the game.
Oh.
Because we're normally on Thursdays at 7.
I'm off kilter today, aren't I?
Dude, it's Friday mentally. It's the truth.
So let's dive into this. Why would they flex this game?
Just so that they have a Sunday night game in case they do have to change it. I wish they would have done the Steelers. Oh my God, who are they playing? Oh, look at the man of the hour.
The man of the hour, Evan Winter. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we want to bring to you here my man, Evan Winter. What's going on, my friend?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Good,
Awesome,
good.
man.
We are talking about the subject, the main subject right now. Why in the hell would you switch up the schedule? Why would you flex that?
I think, like Kenny said, they just want to have a Sunday night game. But to me, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because they axed the Thursday night game. Now, granted, that was because the Bills played on Tuesday night. It's all starting to get really complicated, but that's because
I gave up a long time ago, bro.
Right. And so the Bills had to play on Tuesday night, so that's why they moved it. But at the same time, they totally just ditched it and they left Thursday night without a game. So,
which I'm not mad about that.
Right. And I mean, the Chiefs Bills on Monday night, I think, pulled a 12.6 or something like that, which is really good. Those are good ratings.
For Monday at 5?
Yeah. And it was even rated higher than the Cardinals Cowboys matchup. Yeah. So people are going to watch if they move it to Monday or Tuesday. I don't know why they don't do that.
I'm here to tell you, and I've been a proponent of this here. They need to just do away with the Thursday night game. They just do. Sure. I would go for a double feature on Monday. I would be good with that.
Definitely. I don't even mind Tuesday.
well, this is the thing. You don't want to draw attention away from these games. Your Sunday night game is huge. When you can play on Sunday night, nobody else is playing. You're on the main stage. Monday night is another game that it was traditionally has been a very important game. If you're playing on Monday Night Football, that's huge. But then you throw in Thursday, and Jesus Christ, Thursday, and it muddies the water, in my opinion. And I think that, when people are starving for football, hey, I want to see a game, and you have to go the whole week, and then you're focused on Sunday, and then the big game is Monday. I mean, that should be the schedule. I just can't grasp why you would do a Thursday night game, especially when you're talking about, protecting the shield. You want a good product out there. You want to protect your players and keep your players safe. And you have that short of a turnaround to get healthy or get your guys rested and get ready to play again. I just can't understand a Thursday night game.
Yeah, it's pretty unnecessary. I mean, it's just to stake another claim, for lack of a better word, and put their foot in the ground better, just in another threshold for, viewers and all that good stuff. So, but I don't understand why they don't push it to Monday or Tuesday. Putting it back actually makes the least amount of sense, or moving it up rather makes the least amount of sense. So I don't know what's going on.
That's why I think they have to move it to Monday or Tuesday. I just don't think that it's going to stick.
Well, and plus when you consider that Tampa, their next game is Monday night against the Giants. Now, granted, Raiders, they don't have a Monday night game, but they're the ones with the positive tests. I mean, the league and most fans hung the Titans out to dry. They were saying, they should forfeit, blah, 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 blah. So if the Raiders have to incur some penalty, playing a game 5 days after, a Monday or Tuesday night game really isn't that big a deal. So, yeah, I mean, it makes way more sense to do that. But obviously we're dealing with the NFL here. So,
yeah. Now, are they going to
the best way sometimes?
So I'm going to ask, is there an investigation going on? Do they investigate this when you have an outbreak and making sure that everybody is going according to protocol?
They sure as hell investigated the Titans.
They went all in.
Yeah, they got their asses down here quick. Within, I think, 36 hours of everything popping off, they were down here and they were already formulating judgments, opinions, telling everybody that this is a clear violation of not following the protocols. This isn't an issue with the protocols themselves. So you would think, but shit, at this point, man, they're just trying to get that $16 billion, or they're trying to keep that $16 billion that's at stake. So they're willing to bend the rules at this point.
And what you have to consider, this is a freaking pandemic. This is the pandemic. This isn't like your normal season, and things are gonna occur. And I still don't think scientifically everybody understands everything about this virus. So I don't know, and I know the main thing is hygiene, making sure you're washing your hands, making sure that you're socially distancing and stuff like that. And I mean, you go on Instagram, you see people traveling all over the world, all rich people, not people like me and you, but rich people out there doing their thing, living their best life and stuff, and again, these guys, they have money, they have access to things that we don't. So we don't know what they're doing. We don't, you don't have any idea, how they're going about contracting this. And there's so many variables here. And I hate that, you're in a situation where you're putting a game at stake and you're affecting the league in some way.
Yeah, and with the Raiders coming off a bye week and this occurring, and then obviously players were together at some point. So I'm wondering if the NFL throws out some sort of mandate to make sure that you're pretty much locked in, or maybe they do like a team hotel facility, something to keep players separate, but under at least the same roof or something, because they don't want anyone getting out at this point.
And, I remember, Evan, we were talking about this at the beginning of the season. We were talking about the teams playing in a bubble for the playoffs. I think that is a possibility. That is a bigger possibility now with the outbreaks that we're seeing. I think when you get to the playoffs and the amount of money that, the NFL will make from the playoffs, the Super Bowl, the Pro Bowl, and a lot of the other things, this is something that has to be considered. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah. They could definitely form some kind of bubble, and then you're talking about a lot less games. You're talking about, 4 games at most on one weekend. I think if my math's correct. So I mean, that's better than 16 games, per weekend,
Right.
or 12 games after you consider certain teams with bye weeks, so on and so forth. A bubble would totally be realistic for the playoffs, and honestly, I doubt it's being brought up though, because obviously the NFL had no contingency plan for this. So something tells me they're probably not working on something for the playoffs. So that's just a hunch.
And I feel like they wouldn't have the bubble in Tampa either, because you would think that's where the Super Bowl is going to be. That's where they'd want to have a bubble. Maybe Jacksonville or Miami and Tampa being like little hubs, but Florida, with the numbers and everything going on, does that move the Super Bowl? There's just so many logistics that go on in there.
Yeah, you could put the AFC in one city and the NFC in the other.
Yeah,
city.
you could put or especially Orlando. Orlando is built for this, to be honest, and I think they would be the ideal spot where you, like you said, you have the AFC in Orlando, the NFC in Tampa, and there are enough. I think there will be enough facilities to accommodate everybody. So that's
NBA did it.
Yeah. But you're talking about a totally different animal with the NFL. So
fields. It's all about the fields when it comes to NFL, obviously.
So, guys, I want to jump in. I want to real quick. I want to talk about this Green Bay game. I know we were getting ready to move on to the Raiders, and I know you guys have these big smiles on your face, and you guys are excited about this. Evan, I'm going to start with you because I've been talking with KB about this, but in your mind, were you expecting what you saw on Sunday?
I was expecting a win, but not a 38-10 beatdown. Definitely was not expecting that. I figured they'd keep it close, the entire game. And honestly, I figured a big play like a pick six or something would give the Bucs the final, put the final nail in the coffin, kind of put things away. But hell, man, they had this put away by halftime. It was awesome to watch, and it just shows what this team is capable of whenever they can put it all together. Mm-hmm. Technically, they didn't put it together for 4 quarters on Sunday. They had the first quarter, but Green Bay also had the ball for 12 of 15 minutes. So kind of hard to do stuff on there. And the defense did look good for the most part on those 2 drives. But for the most part, a full game. But, man, 0 penalties, 0 sacks, 0 turnovers. The holy trifecta that we haven't seen in Tampa probably ever.
It happened once in the 80s.
Right.
The last time that happened.
But it was beautiful. And long story short, expected to win, had them winning all week, woke up Monday feeling good about it. Don't know why. But definitely did not expect the 38-10 thrashing that we saw.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to apologize again if I haven't already. If you haven't heard me say it, I was wrong because I was one of those people that thought that, hey, Tampa, I was basing it off of what they did against Chicago.
Hey, that's perfectly reasonable, man. That's perfectly reasonable.
But what this showed me, just like the Chargers game showed me, that this is not the same team that we've seen in past years. They're not even close to the same team. Because I can tell you right now, the 2 scenarios where you have a team that's dominant in the first quarter, and what the Bucs got like 1 series in the first quarter.
Yeah, they had the 1 series and they handed it off to McCoy. Which, going back and watching tape, that was more of a really good play by the Green Bay defender, the safety. I can't think of his name.
Oh, why not have Rojo in there if you're going to?
Well, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. But it was a really good play on the backside by the safety.
Oh, it was.
At the same time, yes, put Rojo in there, damn it, or have a play, have a pass like they did on the 3rd and 6.
I would even say have Keyshawn Vaughn out there. Yeah, he's your guy that of the future, and again, I don't think that Shady's 100% healthy. I still don't. I'm watching him walking off the field, and you watch his gait, and I'm just like, no, he's not 100% healthy. He's going out there. He's playing with some pain. Why not get your young guy out there? Let's see what he can do. I mean, he's shown some flashes, and you're really going to need him, as the season progresses. But I understand you're going up against the Green Bay Packers, and you really can't, hindsight's 2020. But at the time, it's like you got to have guys out there that are experienced because you're up against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. So there is that. Somebody had asked in the chat a couple of times, will this game on the Raiders game be televised at 4:05?
I don't know if it'll be nationally televised, so it depends on the areas, and I don't know what the other 4:00 game is. But it's a Fox game, so I mean, if you can stream it, I think you could probably find it somewhere. If you live in Tampa, you could watch on like the Bucs app or like whatever, things like that. There's going to be ways to see it, but yeah, it's going to be way more difficult than it was going to be on nationally televised games.
So your other 3:00s are the Chiefs and Broncos, the Jags, Chargers, 49ers, Patriots. So there's a good chance.
I can tell you this right now, because Tom Brady is in Tampa, I can almost promise you that game will be televised somewhere. It should be televised somewhere. So and with the COVID-19, you don't have you have limited seating and everything. So that's another part of it. Or well, actually, it's in Vegas. So
I just thought of my dad. He lives in South Carolina, and he's probably going to get the Jags Chargers game.
I'm in North Carolina, so that's probably what I'm going to do.
I'd be so pissed, man. I'd be so ill.
Yeah, but I think the good thing, it doesn't clash with the Rays World Series game.
There you go. Hey, there's always a silver lining somewhere.
Silver lining right there, Yeah. Shout out to the Rays for fighting back the way they have. I love it. But I want to get back to this game. There were a lot of people that have really been kind of down on Rojo, regardless of what he's been doing this year, and they think that the Bucs really need to move on from him, and they want to see more of Leonard Fournette. And I've been saying all year that it's going to be a collective. It's going to be a collective effort. And if this team is going to win, if this team is going to progress, it's going to be somebody echoing off of. Yikes. Okay.
I'm good on mine.
Oh, okay. So everybody's good. All right. So no, it's just imperative that everybody's able to go out and play and make plays. So regardless of who's starting, it's important that when guys get in, that they are able to make those plays. So it's going to be a good thing.
Dude, Ronald Jones has been unreal. I haven't had a chance. I've been super busy with my 40-hour-week job, so I haven't had a chance to really dive into the stats this week. But I can't, honestly, outside of Doug Martin, and maybe LeGarrette Blount, I can't really remember a running back that put together 3 100-yard rushing games for the Bucs. In recent memory. I mean, I'm sure Doug probably did, and then, like I said, probably LeGarrette. But outside of those two, not really sure who else would have done it here in the past 10 years.
They haven't.
The offensive line struggled, in my opinion, a little bit against Green Bay in the early going, but they really turned it on towards the end, like they did in Chicago in the running game, not pass protection. And, man, that's one thing I've really, really liked seeing is how the Bucs have used their running game to close some of these games out here recently.
Yeah, and we've been waiting for this. We've been waiting for this for years, for them to be able to do something like this. And the play calling – I'm going to say the play calling in the second half was way better than what we saw in the first half. And again, does that go back to execution? Were the plays okay and they just weren't executed the way they should have been, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think we saw this coaching staff finally just say F it for the first time in a while last week. They knew that they had to make a statement last week if they wanted to truly be Super Bowl contenders or even playoff contenders, like everybody has made them out to be, like they've made themselves out to be by saying they're in win now mode. So it just last week was a perfect culmination of them doing what they're supposed to do, what we've expected them to do for the last 6 weeks. So now it's about, can they go out there and do it again? That's going to be the biggest test. Like I said, we've seen what they're capable of. Now go out there and do it again against another very good team in the Raiders. Bucs haven't beaten teams with winning records back to back. They've only done it once since 2009, and that was in 2016. So not really a lot of track record of beating consecutive good opponents, and that needs to start this week, or else it's going to be the same questions going into Green Bay.
Yeah, most definitely. For you, I'm going to hit you up, KB. Who did better? I mean, I know we talk about the defense. Was it the defense or the offense? Who stuck out to you more in this game?
Defense. I mean, for the offense, I would say they did their jobs, played mistake-free football for the most part. However, the defense from pretty much the moment the second quarter started all the way through the final whistle, just like, stepped on the throat. They did not give up any inches. It was the type of defense and aggressiveness that we've always wanted, or at least we've heard it, but we haven't really seen it for an entire game. And that was just so encouraging just to see them close it out and just be consistent for 4 quarters, because you can even make the argument in the first quarter, Aaron Rodgers just got outside the pocket and did Aaron Rodgers things. You can't really put that on the defense. So I think the defense showed up for all 4 quarters, and they deserve all the attention that they've been getting this week.
Yeah, most definitely. And the guy that we need to be talking about, I haven't seen his name in the chat, is Lavonte David. We need to continue. We need to be talking about that man and talking about that man and talking about that man. I love Devin White. Devin White's time will come, but what we're seeing from Lavonte David, this guy is playing out of his mind right now. His sideline to sideline, the speed that I'm seeing from him, the point of attack, taking down running backs by himself, and just the sure tackling that we've seen from him. It's just exciting to watch him when he's on the field, because, when I'm watching a game, when I'm watching a defense, I'm trying to figure out where he's at so I can watch and see what he does, because that's just how excited I am with Lavonte David.
Man, obviously he's having a hell of a year, and you could already start banging the drum now. But if Tampa Bay gets it done against the Raiders and they go on and get it done against the Giants, and they're sitting at 6-2 midway through the season, I'm going to start banging the drum for Defensive Player of the Year for him. God, that would just be such –
He's earned it.
Yes, it would be such a show of respect and just something he deserves because of such little attention that he's received over his entire career. I mean, we know it. This is what he does year in and year out. There hasn't really been a drop-off in his play, unless you want to compare every season to the insane 2013 season. So, I mean,
he barely got the Pro Bowl, wasn't even all pro, despite being one of the best, seasons for a linebacker this century.
Dude, I had him on my fantasy team that year, and he got more points than my quarterback most weeks. I mean, it was just ridiculous, man.
Yeah, and you see Luke Kuechly every year. You see Luke Kuechly, and I'm looking at Lavonte's stats, and I'm looking at Luke Kuechly. I'm like, well, wait a minute, you should be talking about Lavonte David too.
Yep.
And I promise you, as soon as Mason Foster, when he replaced Mason Foster, and he came in and he was just balling out, he never stopped.
No,
he only got better every year. And if anything, I haven't seen anybody that's come close to what he's doing right now on a consistent basis. I don't know if you guys would agree with that. I'm glad Tom Brady's here if not for anything else, but to draw attention to some of these players that we've seen and what they're doing. Another person somebody mentioned in the chat was Ndamukong Suh. And, it is beautiful to have 93 here, disruptive, doing what he's doing, and he brings a totally different mentality than what we've seen from this defense over the past decade.
If Lavonte wasn't on the team, Ndamukong Suh would be my MVP on defense so far this year. He's been lights out, man, and I've been critical about how much he gets paid, how he's used, how just he performs on the field in the past. But I have eaten my words this year, and the dude has been a terror, and it's been so much fun to watch. Yeah,
and again, I think what stuck out to me with this game was his past history with Aaron Rodgers, and I'm sure Danica Patrick was enjoying that game.
Yeah, and so many people on Twitter pointed out, reminded them a lot of the Favre Sapp interactions from back in the day, and I thought that was really accurate, and that brought a lot of good fun memories back.
Well, I think that Warren Sapp and Brett Favre actually liked each other and had some form of respect.
Right.
And Ndamukong Suh, if you saw the 300 shove down at almost the end of the half, and just it looked like this is Sparta, and he just throws this guy on the ground. No, just seriously, if you looked at how they were looking at each other, Ndamukong Suh does not like Aaron Rodgers, and I think it's vice versa. And somebody had mentioned, and I didn't bring this up, it said that Aaron Rodgers may have spit on him, but I didn't see that. I just saw two guys that have history going back to when they were in the same division, and they hate each other. And that's what it all came down to me.
Yeah, same. Aaron Rodgers even went on the Pat McAfee show this past week and talked about basically their history, like Sue's history of stepping on himself and his teammates. Like you can tell there's some animosity there, and it was really nice to see Sue from at least benefiting from our behalf.
There you go. Joe Buck was in denial. I love that. I'm going to keep that up for the rest of the day because I hate Joe Buck. But I mean, and I'm going to say this again, guys. If you haven't heard me say this, Joe Buck being in the NFL Hall of Fame is exactly represents what 2020 has been to me. Just a whole travesty of justice, and then some. So that's kind of where I'm at. I do want to talk about the receivers a little bit. We saw Chris Godwin come back, and we haven't seen much from Mike Evans. And I've heard some people, and we talked about this last night. It's a possibility that Mike Evans doesn't get to 1,000 yards, but I don't know. There's a lot of football to be played. There's a lot of defenses to be faced. And I think there's a possibility that Mike Evans just has some huge breakout games and he puts himself in a position. KB brought that up, man, and I had to go back and look at it. And I was like, I looked at the schedule. It's possible that he still gets 1,000 yards.
100%. You've still got 2 games against the Falcons. You still got the Lions. You got the Giants, who are actually pretty good on defense. But the Raiders, he should have a big game against the Raiders this week if they play, obviously. Then you got the Saints who are thinking about benching Marshawn Lattimore. He's having a really down year. I mean, just all kinds of crazy stuff. So there's definitely a possibility. And hell, it's Mike Evans. Never gonna put anything past the guy. He just got to get a little healthy. He just got to get a little healthy, and he'll be right back to what he's doing.
Yeah,
or what he's done.
And he's another guy that I feel like is not 100% healthy. And you've got all these other players out here. You've got other weapons. I like that they're using the tight ends. The emergence of Rob Gronkowski. We haven't seen the Rob Gronkowski we saw this game all year, but I think he's getting into football shape. I think he's getting his wind back, and he's still got those hands, and I think that he's going to be a big factor as long as he's healthy.
His body control last week was excellent. Looked like the Gronk of old, making those tight radius catches and all that other good stuff. And I started in fantasy football and somehow won. So, hey, I'll take it all day long, man.
I mean, I may need to talk to you about a trade. I'm getting the injury list is growing on my side. So.
It's rough out there in the streets, man. The fantasy.
I went scrounging for Antonio Brown, and somebody already picked him up. That didn't tell you anything.
That would be me. As soon as I saw the news, I was like, oh my God. And I even got him in my other league too. I mean, hell, he's totally worth a roster spot just to hold on to right now.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
I don't care how much dumpster juice he is of a person. I'll still take him.
Hey, you know what? But you know that he's going to be able to come back and play.
Right.
One of the questions in the chat: do you think the Bucs make another move in free agency, or do they make a trade in before the trade deadline?
No, I think they're good. The Steve McClendon thing was big, and it was a big need. So unless there's another really, really like major injury, I don't really see them making any moves. Even though the Ali Marpet thing is rather peculiar timing, but outside of that,
I think they're trying to re-sign somebody personally.
Yeah, definitely Levante comes to mind. Honestly, I was telling Kenny on Twitter, I was telling him it wouldn't surprise me if they go after Antonio Brown. Not saying I want them to, just it wouldn't surprise me at all, and that move could help put them in front of the pack. However, could definitely go towards re-signing somebody. Yeah,
most definitely. And guys, I don't care who you like or don't like on that front seven. This McClendon is coming in here, and they're gonna rotate. It doesn't matter about who starts. It's about what you do to produce and help this team win. So I've heard people talk about people losing a starting spot. I don't really care about that. It's about who wins. The final score at the end of the game. I'm not worried about personal statistics really. I want to see this team in the playoffs, and I think that's what we should really be talking about.
For sure. And McClendon's going to play maybe 20 snaps, and his goal is just to beat the center or two gapping. Like he doesn't need to know the schematics really of the defense. He already has the history of bowls. It should be an easy transition for him.
Oh heck yeah, and you're just a space eater, man.
Yeah.
And you know it's about stopping the run, which the past 2 seasons have been so exciting for me because teams have been running on the Bucs like it's nothing. I mean, I know running backs are excited to come in and play against the Tampa Bay Bucs over the past, previous years because hey, they know they're going to at least get 100 yards at least. And that's pretty much what's been happening. That the Bucs defensive line has been a liability against the run for I don't know how long.
Yeah, defensive line played great. I mean, Bowles was excellent with his blitz packages and all that good stuff, and they stopped the run. I mean, I think Packers had like 85 yards, 90 yards, something like that, but that's still an elite number. And honestly, that's probably what it's going to look like. I don't think we're going to be holding opponents to 50 yards or less, for however many consecutive games anymore. But if you just get out there and hold them to 3.5 yards per carry, 85, 90 yards, 95 yards a game, that's just fine. And the real question, though, now when it comes to this defense is, I mean, Todd Bowles is going to have to up his game every week because obviously we all know that teams are going to get tape on you. So what are teams going to learn from his blitz packages from last week to where they can take advantage of it in the coming weeks? There's a lot to build off of last week, but there's also a lot the Bucs are going to have to figure out in order to stay ahead. And it's going to be really interesting to see how they do that.
Yeah, most definitely. And it all comes back to execution, man. I mean, yeah, you could see something on film, but you had to be able to go out and execute and address it. I think that's the part that we talk about. And I want to give a shout out to Ryan Suckup. Here's another guy that I was wrong about. I was pissed that they brought him in here. I was like, what's going on? You don't want to disrupt the whole kicking flow here. And I'm glad he's here. This guy's been lights out. This is something that we haven't really been able to say as Bucs fans. That hey, we don't have to worry about the kicker. I can actually go in and go get a beer when he lines up to kick the ball because I'm not really stressing about it. If that tells you anything,
grabbing beers instead of taking shots, right? Yeah, no. I mean, dude, I wasn't a big fan of the move either. And he's been great. I just honestly though I don't want him doing 50-yard field goals. Like
I don't know, but he bent that one in so well.
He did.
Like he knew something, I guess. Like,
right.
I'm not a kicking expert.
And the wind was swirling too. It wasn't like this was a calm. There was nothing else going on. And that at that moment when because they were talking about it, and you could see the little flags. And Ray J, it just on one end of the field, it's where the wind swirls a lot. And just for him to figure it out and understand what he needed to do, I was like, okay, I'm good with this.
Yeah, no, it all good for him. It's just more of the fact that he's a season removed from having surgery to where he himself said his leg didn't have the same pop, and even Bruce Arians says the reason he's here is because he's money from inside the 40. Now, I guess, obviously he can hit kicks from outside the 40, but inside the 40 is more of his thing. And then, sorry, cat's getting in the way.
Yeah.
Ben Baldwin's Athletics, the Athletic Seattle came out with this tweet during the game last week. The field goal, the decision to go for it was actually worse than what was a worse decision winning percentage wise than it would have been to punt the ball away. So if they would have attempted to go for it and have gotten it, it would have jumped their winning probability to 92%. If they would have punted the ball away, it would have jumped it to 88%. And the field goal attempt jumped it to 86%. So just overall, it wasn't a very good decision in my point of view. But as long as he's making the kicks, man, I'll shut up. So if we're talking about like things saying like, things that we've railed upon that we didn't like, man, I'll say it right here. And I never thought I'd say this, but the Bucs need Leonard Fournette. I mean, and y'all know how I felt about that move coming in. I railed against that big time, but they need him. He is definitely their second best running back, and it's clear there's a drop off in production behind Ronald Jones whenever they bring whoever else in.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm loving the idea that they're going to both be able to play together. I think that's going to be, super exciting, just getting to see them do that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Somebody's talking about Earl Thomas still in free agency.
There's a reason.
There is a reason, because Earl Thomas should have been picked up. With you look at his accolades and you look at his resume. This is a guy that should have been picked up. He shouldn't have been on the street longer than he was. And the fact that players came together and said, we don't want him here. Was that in Houston?
No, that was Houston, but the Ravens.
It was the Baltimore Ravens.
But the Houston team did go to ownership and the head coach. Granted, they had a terrible head coach at the time, but they told everyone internally that they didn't want him. So that's why he wasn't signed in Houston.
That's exactly right. And so that tells you all you need to know. I don't know what he's done. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the fact that he takes plays off or whatever. But, here it is. This guy is not signed by anybody. And that speaks volumes, especially in the NFL with all the soft tissue injuries, with all the needs and the deficiencies on certain teams. You would think that he would have gotten signed by somebody. So, again, it's just one of those things that, you kind of have to pay attention to everything else that's going on in the NFL to kind of get an idea of what's happening.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, who knows why he hasn't been signed, but the fact of the matter is he hasn't been signed. So, like y'all said, player with his talent, with his accolades and his history should be signed somewhere.
Yeah.
What do you get the fuck?
I don't understand why cats like to do this.
They love keyboards too, man.
Dude, yeah, he's all about the mic right now.
Algebra's outside, man, doing something, but normally he would be up here. He's trying to find a way to angle his way onto the screen somehow. So I don't know. This is a cat thing, I guess.
Attention whores, man.
Exactly. So before I know you said you can only be on for a little bit. Let me know what do you think your final prediction is on the game, and I'll let you go ahead and jump off of here, man.
So I got Bucs winning 27-20. I think Raiders it'll be more about the Raiders being able to keep the ball away from them than anything. And man, Henry Ruggs, when he's in this lineup, the Raiders last year, one of the reasons why they had a lot of issues was because Antonio Brown, their offense was going to be centered around him. Mm-hmm. He was their offense. He was the key cog. And then obviously they had the blow up, and they basically had to kind of redo their offense as the year went on, especially whenever Tyrell Williams went down and just showed that he couldn't stay healthy. So Henry Ruggs is AB from last year, or he is that role. He is that guy. And man, when he is on the field there, he's got the vertical element. This Raiders defense is truly scary when he's on the field. Now you got to factor in the offensive line. Right now, I think they're going to play. That you just got to assume they're going to play. You go in there and prep like they're going to play.
Yeah.
And especially if Trent Brown is back, which I don't think he would be back because he tested.
Unless they move it back, yeah. He's the one who tested positive.
Okay, right. So
no one else has at this point.
Right, so I doubt he'll play. But if he does play, it showed last week what happens when he's in the lineup. I mean, he's one of the league's best right tackles. So, but I still think the Raiders, man, I've been really impressed with John Gruden's play calling over the past few weeks. I really feel like he's evolving as a coach. It's a lot of fun to watch. And their defense has enough guys to make your life hell. Clee Farrell really stepped up last week. And then you've got Max Crosby, man. He's really impressive. He's very impressive. So, no, but granted, they're a four-man rush. You know where the pass rush is going to come from most times. Regardless, I think Tampa Bay gets it done, man, 27-20. And I think Chris Godwin has a big game this week.
Yeah, I expect to see a lot from the linebackers. The one thing that stuck out to me was the run, how teams were able to run against the Raiders. And
for sure.
And they're able to open up holes and get big chunks on the Raiders. The linebacker core, I kind of go back and forth with on the Raiders linebacker core. I think that your tight ends have opportunities to make big plays. Cam Brate could have a big game, and I definitely think Gronk. If we see more of what we saw last week, I think Gronk can have a big game against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah,
at home at the Big Roomba
with no fans. That's important too.
Yeah, that Nick Kowalski kid is pretty good. And then they've got Corey Littleton, who's a really good cover linebacker, but not very good in run support.
Right.
So it's gonna be interesting to see just how this game unfolds, especially when you add the COVID element into everything. But overall, man, I just want to see them come out and play another clean game. It doesn't have to be 0 penalties. Doesn't have to be 0 turnovers. Doesn't have
yourself.
Right. Just keep it on the minimum side of things. And, and I'll be happy, and just come out with a W and I'll be happy.
There we go. All right, guys. If you're not following Evan Winter, Evan, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
At Twitter, at Evan_Winter, all lowercase letters, spelled how it sounds. BucsNation.com, RockyTopTalk.com. That's the Bucs and UT Vols website. And then, of course, check out the North and South podcast. Couldn't get my preview done this week, but I'll have my instant reactions episode done on Sunday, and then I'll have next week's preview back. We'll get back and swing with the previews.
This is going to be exciting, man. This is a guy that you can look forward to seeing on Buck What You Heard. If we can get him on, we try to drag him on. We can bribe him with some box wine or something. Try to get him on here from time to time. But dude, thank you so much for coming on, man. I'm gonna let you get back to your night. You are greatly appreciated. As usual, you are a friend of the show, so you're always welcome on at any time.
Yeah, have a great night, Evan.
Yeah, same to you guys. Thanks for having me as always. And y'all are friends of the show as well. So definitely be talking to y'all soon.
All right, guys. All right, so we're going to take some calls. I know some people were asking, hey, are we going to get
20 minutes? Yeah, we got 20 minutes.
We got 20 minutes. Let's take some calls. And guys, I want to get your thoughts on, what are you thinking right now? How are you feeling about this, this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team and their game, either the Green Bay game or the game against the Raiders. Thank you so much.
No, I'm trying. You're doing stuff. Yeah, you're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Live show perks.
Yeah, that's the beauty of live shows right here. Here we go. Let's go ahead and get this. Okay. 813-358-8154. Buck What You Heard. I do want to hear from you guys. Again, this is a fan show. We did have a special guest on, so we didn't get as many fan calls, but we want to make up for that right now. So, sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay. We're good. I was making sure I'm not missing anything here. Yeah. And so, for me, I'm looking forward. I'm actually looking forward to this game.
I'm looking forward to Rojo, man. Everything I see about the Raiders defense, they're one of the worst tackling teams in the NFL. In fact, analytics say that they're the worst. So I'm hoping Rojo pops up some runs, man.
All right. We do have a caller here. All right. You are live on Buck What You Heard. Who we talking with?
You got Will, man. What's up?
What's going on, Will? How's everything, man?
Dude, wasn't that a glorious game on Sunday?
Bro, I want to get your thoughts. I've been running my mouth the whole time, man. I want to hear from you.
Dude, to me, because, like I said, I'm from Wisconsin. That was like a Super Bowl to me. Just stomping on the neck of Aaron Rodgers and not letting him get up. That's like, oh, God, that was glorious. And my fiance is sitting right next to me during the game, and she's Packer fan. I'm like, yeah, it's not going to happen. We're not letting up. I'm sorry. You gave us an inch, we're taking a mile.
So I got to ask you real quick. First quarter, was she giving you the business?
Oh, she was. She was. And I was like, just wait. Just wait. I was like, just wait. They're up 10-0, and she's like sitting there going, "Oh yeah, feels good to be a Packer fan." I was like, "Just wait, the game's not over yet." And then
you have more faith than I did. Up to you.
And I was just like, "Oh, does that look good?" And she's like, "It's just 6 points," and I'm like, "Oh, but more is gonna come. More is coming, baby. More is coming." And then, oh, look, another interception. Oh, look at that. And she's just like, okay, what's going on here? And I'm like, I tell you what's going on. You just ran it defense. That's what's happening.
Be careful, man. You want to keep her your fiance.
Yeah, exactly.
And
but you've got bragging rights for the next 4 years?
The one thing oh, God, for me, it practically is. And her favorite player is Aaron Jones. Oh, and I told her flat out, I was like, Aaron Jones ain't going nowhere. And she's like, oh, gosh, she's like the best running back in football. Not against our front seven. I don't know what you're thinking about. have you seen what our front seven can do to somebody? And sure enough, going into the third quarter, why are you running? Stop running the ball.
Is this when
Please.
she becomes a head coach at this point?
Oh, yeah, she became an arm. Oh, she was the head coach. And I was just like, oh, baby. It feels good to be a Buccaneers fan right now.
But
and then because we're both wrestling fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're both die-hard wrestling fans. And I made my post on Facebook, and I was just talking about the win. And I said the win was simply ... And then I put the gif of Bobby Roode doing the glorious thing.
Glorious. That's right.
And Bobby Roode is her favorite wrestler. And she's like, how dare you disrespect Bobby Roode by linking him up to Tampa Bay? Because I'm like, oh, it hurts, huh? Oh, I bet you that hurt you. just a little bit. And then she goes, did you watch the game? Did you see what Tom Brady said to Aaron Rodgers after the game? Oh, I saw it. It was something like Tom Brady said, just shake it off, bro. Just shake it off. Like, there was no volume, and you could see Tom Brady running his mouth to shake Aaron Rodgers' hands, and it was just like, just shake it off, bro. Just shake it off. Now it's just like, ooh, that's like salt in an open wound. Just shake it off, bro. You'll be good.
You know what?
Yeah, man. To me, that's like a Super Bowl.
And there is that possibility that the Bucs could face the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs at some point if they both make it there.
Oh, if it's Bucs versus Packers in the NFC Championship game, that will be even more glorious for me, because just knocking the Packers out of going to the Super Bowl, gosh, I don't even care if we win.
And
being able to say, no Super Bowl for you.
and the ironic thing about all this is that the Packers had everybody healthy. Everybody was coming off of injury. Everybody was coming back. They didn't have it wasn't like you were playing against a wounded team. This was a team that had all their guys coming back. And you know, they had the full arsenal of what they have. And I'm here to tell you right now, Tampa, they rose to the challenge, and I like I said, I apologize because I didn't think they were going to win, but what they accomplished was nothing short of incredible.
Oh, I knew they were going to win. I had faith. That they were going to win. I thought they were going to do a lot better against the Bears, but the referees we're just, we got to give the refs a game every now and then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess there were opportunities for the Bucs to win that game. I don't want to dwell on that Chicago game. I thought that the Bucs bounced back.
The sun's got to shine on the dog's ass every once in a while. So
all right, there you go.
So, but coming up to this game coming up, I was talking to my buddy who's a Buccaneer fan. He's like, how do you think the game's going to happen? And I was just like, oh, man, for this week? And he was like, yeah, against the Raiders. How do you think it's going to happen? And I went back to thinking of all the times with my dad, who I think we talked about it briefly when I called last week Friday. I just started to go back to SNL with, the dicta.
Oh, yeah.
My dicta. I was just like, the Buccaneers are going to take on the Raiders. And the score will be Buccaneers 127-2.
I remember that on Saturday Night
That's what
Live,
I told him. He was like, the 2? And I'm like, yeah, we'll give him 2 points because we feel bad.
Hey, I'm here to tell you, man, I think this team has figured it out. The 4 games prior were like those preseason games. I think they've gotten a little bit more comfortable with each other. I think there's still some learning to do, amongst players, but I think this team will be just fine, moving forward into the season, just based on what we've seen. I know we talked about last week this being a measuring stick for what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are capable of doing. I want to see how they do against the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders are a team that,
I'm very excited to see this Raiders game.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, man. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Hey, we got somebody here from Twitch that says the Raiders are going to win this. So,
wow. There's a guy in the Raiders. Well, I like Josh Jacobs a lot. I'm a big Jacobs fan, but another guy that I'm a big fan of on the Raiders is Hunter Renfrow. I think he's something special. But I think those two guys are not going to get them to where they need to be. And honestly, when we were drafting, I was hoping and praying that Tampa Bay in the second round would draft Carr. I was like, please just draft Carr in the second round, please. And we didn't draft Carr in the second round. I was really hoping Tampa Bay would have drafted Carr in the second round because I thought Carr was something special. But we didn't do that.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, man, it's about the Bucs going out there. They've got to execute and when they go out and play, play as mistake-free as possible and not kill themselves with back-breaking penalties. We saw a good starting point last week, and we want to continue to see more of that. I mean, it doesn't have to be a flawless game, but it's got to be one of those games where they take advantage of opportunities that they get. And what you saw with the Bucs this week was a team that took advantage of mismatches. And I've been saying that the Bucs need to take advantage of mismatches, and we hadn't seen that up until now. And I think KB, you touched on it a little bit, basically that the Bucs really just said, to hell with it. We need to go out there and we need to do something, and that's kind of what they did. So I want to get your final thoughts before we roll out of here, man. I appreciate you calling in and hope to hear from you next week.
Oh, definitely. My final thoughts, man. I'm really excited for this game. I'm really excited for the season. I looked at the schedule with everything that's been going on, and after seeing everything play with how the defense was and how our offense looked, I think the worst that we can do is 12-4. With the schedule that we have coming up, two more losses. That's it.
Wow.
But I think the best we can do is just win outright and go 14-2.
All right. Well, I love hearing that, man. Those are the kind of things you want to hear, man. All right. Well, you have a great rest of your evening and enjoy the game.
I definitely will. You too, guys.
All right. 813-358-8154. We've got a few more minutes. I think we could take one more call.
I think we do one more.
What are your thoughts on this game coming up against the Raiders?
I think it should be a good one. It depends which Derek Carr we're going to get. Are we going to get check down Charlie or downfield Derek? It is what it is. And I'm just excited to see how we're going to respond. Is our defense going to do the same thing? Is Rojo going to run off the field, or is Tom Brady going to pass the ball over the field?
Yeah.
These are all the things I can't wait to see.
Yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you with the offensive play calling?
3.
I had to throw that. I just had to throw that out there.
Oh, you know how I feel. Until Byron Leftwich is able to be consistent and throw on first downs and do things that can set us up for success, I'm going to be a pessimist until I see it.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I would hope that Tom Brady would be able to check down or not check. Good, you got me saying check down. You got to be able to audible out of things, and put this team in a position to win. He's able to read defenses, and that's something we haven't had for a long time. And I think that that's something that's definitely going to benefit the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think that this team, this is a winnable game. As I've said before, I say this about every single game. You will hear me say this about every single game throughout the season because of the talent on this team. It's just a matter of them putting it all together and going out there and winning the game. So, yeah, this guy Benjamin out here from Twitch is saying that he believes the Raiders are going to win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That that could very well be any given Sunday. But when you look at the level of talent on both sides of the ball, I look at Tampa, and Tampa is a team. If they can put it all together, they can be a very dominant team. So, there is that.
Same here. I think Vegas got it right. The Bucs got a 3.5 point spread in favor of them. So I think that even though they're the away team, I think that was a good, showing of what the matchup is. The Raiders obviously beat the Chiefs, but when you look at what the Bucs have done and what they're capable of, and not on a short Thursday night week, and they're healthy again, it's a tough team to be going up against. But like you said, any given Sunday, man.
Yeah. And then you got to look at it too. The Chargers almost beat the Chiefs too. I mean, there was that. So I think when you're talking about the Raiders and the Chargers are division rivals. There's a different mindset when you're going in and you're facing a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, because you play them twice a year, and you've played them twice a year for forever. So, I get that the Raiders beat the Chiefs. I get that the Chargers almost beat the Chiefs. But again, you're looking at a totally different animal. I don't want to get ahead for that game. I do kind of want to focus on this Raiders game. And I seriously believe that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in a position to win that.
Absolutely. And then you have a little bit longer of a weekend or week, depending on, how this game, schedule goes. But then you have the Monday night game against the Giants. I think that's if we win this game on Sunday, it's a good, take a breath kind of game, like against the Giants. And then you're going to move on to some really tough teams, because even the Panthers are playing people tough now.
Yeah. Jeffrey Dwayne Howard from Facebook is asking, do y'all think that Lavonte David and Devin White are the best linebacker duo in the league?
Yes.
He didn't even let me get that finished. He didn't even give me a chance to answer yes too. And
I wanted to beat you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just what the natural talent that we've seen from Devin White, just only 2 years in the league. And then when you look at Lavonte David, who's continuously kept up that high level of play, and you put those two things together and how they work off of each other, I can't think of anybody else. And I am being biased, I'm sure. But again, Lavonte David, long overdue to have his name mentioned among great players. And if he's not in the Pro Bowl this year, I'm going to have a lot to say about it. So there is.
He's not an all-pro. I think this month he's having way better of a season than last month. And on White, really quickly, I think even with the Vita Vea injury, it actually opens a lot more up for him, because I think he's better off against the run and being up on the line of scrimmage and, rushing the passer as opposed to being a coverage linebacker. So Vita Vea not being there just puts more responsibility on him to do the things that he does really well, instead of, trying to be Lavonte David running sideline to sideline in the passing game.
Yeah. And I'm looking at him, and I really believe his pass coverage has gotten better from last year. So
it's definitely gotten better from last year. It's just not perfect yet.
No, but again, you got to consider this is his second year in the league, and he was injured for the first 6 games, 5, 6. I don't.
He played in the first game, but then he was out 5 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you look at that, and you look at how much that slows you down, and you consider where he picked up at when he came back, and he's been playing at a high level ever since. Again, Devin White is a name. If you've never heard of him, or you haven't been following the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, get used to it, because that's a name you're going to hear as long as he stays healthy for a very long, long time.
And he might get Lavonte next to him for the rest of his rookie contract, because I've even read on Twitter that Lavonte's agent came out and said that he wants to retire as a Buc. So that's 3-4 years right there.
Yep. And me and Lavonte David are on the same page, because I want him to retire as a Buc as well.
Same here.
There is that. Well, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Wherever you're from or wherever you're at, thank you so much. We had quite a few people steadily listening to us, and you guys are appreciated as well. I was really hoping to get more people on the phones, but those things happen. We will be back here again next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Myself, Gene Thomas, Buck What You Heard, my man KB, and KB, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, and let's get your final thoughts, and we're gonna roll up out of here.
Oh, yeah. Find me on Twitter at Bucs_Barrett. My bold prediction is that Rojo is going to rush for 150 yards on Sunday or whenever this game is played. So I'm hoping for a Bucs win, and I think we can hope for a big game from Rojo.
All right. Well, guys, we are out of here. Again, you can reach me at BucWhatYaHeard on Twitter. You follow me, I'll follow you back, and we are out.
Peace.